Austin Bluffs, Colorado store of Tim Peterson. I take great personal pride in this store. I have worked with and known Tim for over 16 years. Accepting the award are Tim and his wife, Belinda. Tim purchased his store in March of '93 and has been pushing volume upwards every month. He remodeled his store in January of '94 and increased sales across the board, especially in wheels, where he had a phenomenal 200% increase. He also became the first store in Colorado Springs to hit $1 million. Total sales for the year were $1,065,450. Congratulations, Tim. Tim, I had nothing to do with that. Our second new $1 Million Club member is the Parker, Colorado store, owned by Bucky Stanley and Tim Sullivan. Both Bucky and Tim are here tonight to accept their award. Neither Bucky or Tim had any automotive or tire service experience when they opened their store, but they must have been straight-A students at the new franchise school because they broke the $1 million mark in the first full year of operation. Total sales volume was $1,069,618. Congratulations. Up is the Louisville, Colorado store, owned by Rod Schmidt. Here to accept the award are Hot Rod and his wife, Jody.
Should know it's his time to come up, considering the brand new $2 million watch he just received with $2,013,264. Longmont, Colorado, Mike Lyons. Come on back, Mike.
Well, it would be California's gain and Colorado's is loss. That's Longmont, Colorado. Sorry, Mike. Just leaves number one, and it's with a great deal of pleasure I recognize this top store for 1994 with phenomenal sales of $2,512,454, a repeat, the Glenwood Springs, Colorado store of Dean and Scott Stone. Congratulations again, Dean.
Biff Barkley, consumer detective, checking out the Heck No Club here at Big O Tires. Hey, pal, buying new tires?
Heck no. Bought them 3 years ago. Hit this bike and...
Cost a bundle, huh?
Heck no. Big O's full warranty replaced my tire free.
Hi, long wait, huh?
Heck no. Big O has express lane service. Time is money.
Time is money.
At Big O Tires, the Heck No Club says heck no to hidden costs and long waits.
Move, Sonny!
Big O, earning your trust for 25 years.
There's something about a teenager and their first car. It's been going on since 16th birthdays, and a new driver's license became one and the same. At Big O Tires, we understand that a tire's got to do a lot more than just look good. It's got to last, be reliable, and it can't cost the national debt. At Big O, you get all this, and our commitment to your complete satisfaction.
Customer satisfaction, second to none. Big O.
Signs of satisfaction at over 300 Big O tire stores across America.
Your satisfaction.
Dedicated Big O store owners earning your trust every day. Employees doing their best to serve you. Plus a warranty and service policy second to none. From Washington to California to Kentucky and Colorado. Get that Big O feeling.
Customer satisfaction, second to none.
Driving down the highway, taking it in. Big O takes me there and back again. Wherever I go, I'm riding on Big O tires.
Nothing beats the Bigfoot AT. Toughness beyond compare with maximum tread depth for mud and snow. That's the Bigfoot AT, only at Big O.
A reputation you can ride on Big O tires.
You had a question as far as the tire busters, talking to the customers. There's a philosophy that we go by in Longmont, and it happened to come about by a car dealership that I went to. Everybody's gone to car dealerships, taking your car in for service, and for one reason or another, you could have had a bad experience. In most cases, you probably did. One case in particular, I took it to the dealership for some service, warranty work, and Tony took the car in. And typically when you call back and you say, "This is Mike Lyons, and I'm seeing how my truck is," and they go, "Mike Lyons, let's see. Well, gee, I can't seem to find you here. Can you hold on?" So he rummages around. He says, "Yeah, I believe it is done." Versus having one guy that handles the vehicle all the way through, and the instance was, "And who was your service rep that you talked to?" Well, it was Tony. Tony got on the phone and says, "Well, Mike, you're such and such and such and such," and went all the way through what they did to it. He followed the truck all the way through and followed me all the way through the process. Made me feel very comfortable, and it was very professional.
Just to kind of get this seminar going, I thought maybe what we do is go right to the heart of Big O. And one of the individuals that I think is absolutely paramount in the history of Big O, the foundation of it, the systems that we use, so many of the great ideas and the things that set us apart and make us different, and that's Norm Affleck. And with that, I know that one of the questions that is always asked and always answered, but usually in a different way, depending on who you talk to, and that is how Big O got its name. How did really Big O come to be? And after 22 years, and I know that within your own markets, there's a little confusion at times as to the term Big O and what it means and how it got there. But Norm, share with us, will you? What's the real story?
We had been months trying to come up with a name, and the names we came up with had already been used by other companies and so forth. And so we were at a restaurant up in Burley, Idaho, and it was called the Oasis. And somebody said, "Well, that's a good name for us." And then after that, we had to figure out what it really meant. And it was Tire Store Operators Opportunity Organization. And I think Uncle Tom came up with that. And it was the start of a great organization.
Jim, what do you think is the single greatest strength at Big O?
Quite often, dealers are referred to as independent tire dealers, but that's not so. The strength is the fact that we're interdependent tire dealers. We depend on one another. We obtain from one another information, support, help. Heaven knows when we were building the Las Vegas stores, we had plenty of volunteer help come over and show us how to do it and help us do it in every way. And likewise, there was reciprocal relationships between all the dealers, and we tried to pay back a little bit ourselves as time went on and help the new dealers get started, not only in the training, but pick and shovel, whatever it took. And so it's truly a multiple ownership but a singular interest. Everyone has interest in the other's success.
Thank you, Jim.
First of all, I'd like to say what a pleasure it is to sit up here and look down at all you people. That's been the topic of our conversation for a couple of days. But up here, I'm rather nervous, always have been. And Steve said just before the meeting, he says, if you imagine that they're all naked, it'll kind of relax you. I don't have that kind of imagination.
Love Tom, and as much as I've learned from Tom in the tire business, Tom is not Uncle Tom Staker, okay? Norm, who's Uncle Tom?
Well, Uncle Tom was one of the greatest guys in the world. He and I traveled many, many miles recruiting new franchises, new distributors, and so forth. And he was tireless. He just kept going and kept going. And you can tell him a little sentimental about Tom because we were very close. He was very instrumental in cutting out the signs out of marine plywood for the majority of the first 30 stores that went in.
The total month's business the first month was $1,500. Gosh, I had a wife and 3 kids and rented the house, and it was a big chore. But that little business went right straight up.
I think we recognize how much Big O means to the people up here. How did it all happen for you, Dan? How did you get into the Big O Tire organization, and where'd you go from there?
I come from the OK Rubber in 1937, and of course we started. I should bring up the Stakers. I was the guy that put the Stakers into the Big O, or into the OK Tire deal.
There's just nothing like a healthy and successful group operation. This same spirit of lending a hand, bolstering, boosting, and supporting is just as effective today as it was those many years ago. And I am just so grateful to be a part of this wonderful organization.
Thank you, Grant. A little later in the day, here comes Bill's dad. He says, son, let's go to this shed. Bill knew right away there was a reckoning to be made. And he walked out there with the shed and he says, son, you pushed that outhouse into the creek today, didn't you? Bill thought about it and he says, yes, I did, Dad. And then Bill thought, but you know, Dad, I read in school today that George Washington, when he chopped down that cherry tree, he told the truth and nothing happened to him. Bill's dad says, yes, Bill, but George's father wasn't in that cherry tree. And one of the guys, obviously, that was most responsible for bringing that about, again, was Norm. Norm, how did we get into the Big O Tire business?
Well, I started out in 1945. My father-in-law loaned me $7,000 to get into business. And so I started up in a little town of Alamosa, Colorado, a population of 5,000 people. And I had set it up as the speed lane, and at times, as you say, we called it the express lane. And we found that we could install a complete set of tires on the average of 15 minutes, have them balanced and gone. And that way the customer didn't have to.
The last question I really want to pose to this particular group, and it's one that none of you have seen before, none of you have been briefed on, but there's something unique about Big O. There's something very, very special. In your own words, if you would like, share with this particular group, in your opinion, what is the heart of Big O?
The heart of Big O is the people. You know, I'm acquainted and have been for many years with a lot of different tire companies, competitors and so forth, and you don't find the people and the cooperation, one helping another. You know, we'd have grand openings and people would drive in from all over the country. We even had parades of our pickup trucks, and we built floats celebrating. We'd have the mayor and cut a ribbon for the grand opening. But the success of it was the dealers coming in together. We learned from each other at those grand openings. And I've got a funny story I want to tell you about a guy that most of you know. And we were at a grand opening in Pocatello, Idaho. And at that time, it was the largest Big O store in the country. And Dan and I were walking through the service bay together, and Dan says, who's that guy on the tire changer over there? And I said, I don't know. I've not seen him before. And so Dan walked up to him and says, who are you? Why are you here? And he says, well, I saw that you had a grand opening, and I thought that maybe I could help you, and if I did a good job, you might hire me. Come to find out, it was Stoney.
Dean Stone.
Dean Stone.
Anyone else? Ronnie?
It's a feeling of an extended family is what it really means to me. It's seeing a son. It's something that happened here the other day. It's a story that my wife would probably tell better than I will, but she called here to the hotel about 3 weeks ago, knowing that we were coming here, to see if we could make a reservation in the dinner house, thinking that with the entire convention that maybe there wouldn't be room left. And the young lady that handled the phone made the reservation for us and said, now, you know, we have an outstanding brunch on Sundays, and I think that you might want to consider making a reservation for that. Well, she said she'd think about it, and then we talked about it. She hung up the phone and decided that maybe we'd do that. And she called back and said that I was talking to so-and-so, and she said, well, she's not here right now, but I can help you. And the lady helped her, and we made the reservation. She said, you know, I'm with Big O Tires. She said, Big O Tires? Let me tell you a little story. She said, the other day I was in an automobile agency, and there happened to be a man down there sitting next to me, and we were talking about service. And you know, we couldn't stop talking about Big O Tires. And she said, there's a couple guys in the area here, Bruce and Scott, who have a funny last name. But she said, they have done nothing but treat me and my family wonderfully, and I'll never forget them. And she said, and by the way, I have a very funny name. She said, my name is Mary Sue Wildman. And I got to tell you, that's what Big O is about. It's about this family, and it's about the customers and the relationships that we've built over the years.
Thank you, Ronnie.